I I realized that the less things that I own and that I have to look after, the better I'm feeling, and the more space there is for me to be inspired and be creative and just follow impulses that might grab me in a moment where I want to create music or go outside or go explore this area or see this particular friend. And it just offers me so much freedom. My name is Malva Luma. I'm a sound designer, composer, music producer, singer, recording artist. I recently moved back to Sweden. In the summer times, I live in my van that I built myself. And right now it's a little bit too cold to stay in it, but for the warmer months, I live full time in my van and travel in that thing quite a lot. Van life has impacted my music production quite a bit. I minimized my setup a lot, which offers me more freedom, I would say, to go crazy with just inspiration whenever I feel it. I don't have to go to a specific place or set up this complex thing. I can just open up my laptop and make the sounds that I want. And it's much easier to be creative nowadays when I have less things to worry about. I decide on the microphones that I will be bringing, and then I head out. Usually then I just kind of start somewhere and end up like 3 hours later in a completely different place, where I'm just, how did I end up here? Because one thing leads to another, and then I see something and I better go and record this, and then I break that, and this starts the idea to go over there and put this broken thing into this other one, and take the stone that I find there and throw in the water. And then I might pick up this underwater microphone and I want to capture the sound of the stone hitting the water, but from below. And then I find a piece of ice, and then I might break this, and this sounds quite cool. And what if I take up the ice and place it in a bucket of water, and I record it from underneath? How does ice actually sound when it breaks? But not above, but below. And this is something I found sounds extremely cool. And it sounds kind of like a alien orchestra, just like singing and playing their weird violins. So ice breaking, melting and crackling underneath sounds just so squeaky and scrumbly and strange. And this is something I used in one preset specifically that I made for a recent sound pack. I took this texture and I blended it with Polytone. So you have the synthetic elements plus the organic, and with the knobs on the combinator, I sort of let the users blend back and forth and explore how these two elements play together in different ways, and the user can actually create sort of their own take on the sound. Like they can make it their own sort of with the knobs that I programmed. Yeah, so I load the sample. In this case, I use grain. I think it's great for textures. So it instantly sounds quite cool. I might go ahead and change the speed a little bit. And then it kind of freezes in certain locations of the sample, which could be really cool. But for this case, I want it to be moving around quite freely. So, and now I wanted to introduce a more tonal element. So in this case, I used Polytone, and it's one of my favorite synths in Reason, actually. I think it just sounds so charming instantly. I go ahead and change Polytone a little bit to my liking. I want the tail to be a little longer. And maybe not so much of an attack there. I think those play along quite nicely. So I think it sounds a little bit dry though. I usually use a mixer where I patch in my effects. And now I want some reverb. And a little larger. There we go. It's a pitch. Dream scenario would be that the person dares to open up every single patch, play around with it, you know, see what sparks that inspiration, and then just go kind of wild with like repatching, throwing in a bunch of different new effects. Maybe just throwing the sample that I placed in there in the trash and just record their own stuff and go wild with adding it in, exploring like how does this patch change when I change the sound source. That would be cool.